Hello, how are we all? Well, running a bit late. My microphone. It shouldn't be popping anymore. Because this is all running off of my streaming PC, and in every other single stream that I've done in the last 7 days, I haven't had an issue. Or nobody said anything between now and then. So yeah, how we all doing? Hello, is this go through? It seems like there might be a bit of a delay. You enjoy seeing me at a reasonable hour. Thank you. I think I might actually be coming down with something. I've had a bit of a blocked nose for today. Don't know if it's coming through or if you can tell the difference, but yeah, I've felt congested all around the nose. Eyes feel dry. Will I be talking about Jack Axton? Yes, he is involved in this conversation. Yeah, it looks like it's like 60 seconds behind. Let me see if I can change the latency for this. I don't think I can actually, since we've started. Yeah, I don't think we can. That's alright. Over the plague? Probably. One form of it. Might have to just look at my stream PC and read the chat off of that. That way when it pops up on the stream, I'll see it there and then I'll respond. And then 30 seconds later. The mic is cutting out for you? Has the mic been cutting out for anyone else, or is it is our Bantha having hearing issues? Well, you know, I just react to what I see on my streaming PC. Mic is popping. Let me try something. That's crazy. That's crazy that it's happening though, because none of the other streams had it. Unless you guys just didn't say anything. Because nothing has changed at all. I'll have to listen to the stream and, yeah, see if I can work it out. Because I thought I'd worked it out and it was a, conflict between audio sources. I'm just going to have to listen to it later. Anyway, it's only like 5% of the time. We'll have to wait and see. Too high CPU usage. That's funny that you say that, Hex, because, what is it? Like on my PC, so I'm doing the reaction on my gaming PC, and the streaming PC is handling all the audio. I'm just running Chrome and Gilded on my gaming PC at the moment. So, I guess what I could try doing, I could try rebooting my gaming PC, because I should be able to keep running. Should be able to keep running on the streaming PC. Then again, it might bloody, what's it called? Shit itself, but let's do it. Does mean that the setup is going to take a little bit longer again, and I'm going to lose the chat for a moment. So I'm going to be rebooting. Alright, I'm back. Took a minute. We'll see if it made it worse or if it's improved. Just noticed, but it wasn't major. It could also be on the streaming PC side of things. It may be struggling. Maybe struggling with the amount of audio being piped through. Alright, well, what we're going to do, we're going to just crack on anyway. And we'll just have to live with the little cracks and pops, and I'll have to keep looking into it. So, what we're going to be looking at is... So the first lot of reaction stuff, pretty much what I experienced last week, and I was kind of frustrated because Captain Dirty released it the day after the reaction stream. His video on a response from CIG about ramming being allowed in armistice zones. Now, I'm pretty sure most of you watched it. Unfortunately, yeah, it's one of those things, guys. I'm not really going to be able to do anything about the audio stuff because I need to be able to hear it too and then move between both my streaming and gaming PC, which is a pain in the ass to do at the moment. But if it's not happening on the... I imagine it's an audio issue that's being translated through from my gaming PC to my streaming PC. Although if it's only happening based on my microphone, it could just be a loose cable. But we'll have to wait and see. Because I've done tests recording audio and it's been fine. So it could even be a streaming issue. I made sure all the audio bit rates are the same. Although I may have to drop them down from 48 to 44. We'll see how we go. Anyway, this armistice zone bloody business. It starts with Captain Dirty's video. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn the music up. So I've got a lot to say about this, but at the same time, I don't really want to get ahead of myself. So we'll start from the start. This is where it all starts. We go over to here. We're going to be starting with Captain Dirty's stream. Correction video. COG is responding. It's a response from COG about armistice zone ramming allowed.
Pirates are griefers and griefers are pirates, and they both suck and I hate them all.
You're being pirated by Chaos Squad. You're being pirated.
Fired upon.
By who?
Yo, I'm Captain Dirty, and I'm here today with a pirate service announcement for everyone. Recently, a couple members of Chaos Squad encountered a cargo hauler that had a caterpillar full of cargo sitting inside of an armistice zone. After waiting for a little while and seeing no activity, our pirates concluded that the ship had been abandoned and proceeded to use a fury to break into the ship and steal. Shortly afterwards, they began to notice some messages in general chat, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at those now.
Now, I just want to point something out here. It's not uncommon for this to happen, to come across this, where you find an abandoned cargo hauler at an outpost. A few times we've found them with cargo in them still. And, you know, like we scan the ship, no ship owner name is showing up. You can't rely on it all in game rules, because for whatever reason, the server doesn't take ownership of a ship that's been abandoned straight away. So what we end up doing is we look for a ship owner, you know, ship owner line in the ship information, and if we see no ship owner in, you know, where it's supposed to be at after doing a scan of nearly 100%, then we just assume that the ship has been abandoned, because every ship has an owner until the owner leaves the server or they reclaim their ship. Normally when they reclaim their ship, the server takes ownership of the previous one, but, you know, sometimes it can happen after you leave the server. But, you know, sometimes when you just leave the server, the ship owner's name stops showing up. So yeah, this isn't an unlikely scenario where you find a ship and there's no owner, so you're like, all right, you know, let's crack it open. And the only way that you can crack a ship open like that inside an armistice zone is to damage the ramps, or the, you know, if you can get to an elevator, damage the elevator, usually by taking your own ship and, you know, gently tapping the ramp. You can't do it without destroying your own ship. It takes a bit of practice, but, you know, it's possible. We've come across, you know, C2s that have gold in it, you know, a few hundred SCU of gold, and we're like, it's easy money, we'll grab it. Grab it, remove it, transfer the cargo, split all the profits. Yeah, we'll continue watching.
So I've highlighted the Paladin's messages here for everyone, and I'm just going to go ahead and read them off. I was taking screens of you ramming with the Fury in Armistice. By the way, up to you though. You can just...
So his first line was above the first green line, and then you got the second one down here that he's about to read out.
5 mil, and I won't have any reason to report. He goes on to say, okay, Pariah and Dr. Strangelove, I got the report in, but I'm curious about the 6 other times I have done it. I never hear back, so let me know what happens. Not being snarky, they just always say they can't tell me the results because it involves other players.
Now, people want to know, like, I watched Salty Mike's reaction to this particular video, and he says, you know, like, kind of getting a bit ahead of myself, but he says, like, you know, nobody weaponizes customer support. This is a weaponization of customer support. Threatening to report someone to customer support is trying to weaponize it. Do as I say, or else you'll get punished for it. We would know because we're pirates and we do it in game, where we tell people, give us what we want, or you're going to suffer the consequences. Normally we'll blow your ship up, you know, kill you. Right now it doesn't have much value, but, you know, you're making a threat. Well, that's what this person's trying to do. You know, they're trying to extort them for 5 million credits. And it's a ridiculous, you know, claim. It's like, well, how the fuck am I going to know that you're actually going to do it or not? But that's an example of weaponizing customer support. Do as I say, or else I'm going to report you. I think that's something that goes over a lot of people's heads. You know, like they see that because they instantly think, oh yeah, it's just, you know, it's the internet. People are just talking shit. You know, but we've seen examples of where people have been suspended, not yet banned, but suspended for playing the game in a way that pissed off a lot of people, and just enough reports amassed that, you know, CRG took action. Now, the theory is that old mate here had essentially set a bait ship and was trying to get somebody to try and break into the ship in armistice, and they've just watched them do it. They're trying to get people in trouble. You know, if they have done 6 other reports, CIG isn't going to tell them the results of it. They could be doing their own investigation for all we fucking know. You know, to see if CIG actually does something about it. Probably not, though. And to be honest, you know, I wouldn't even be responding to it at all. But let's continue watching, and because what eventually happens is that customer support from CIG is contacted about this entire scenario. As you can see, they've got the, looks like a C2's ramp. Looks like a C2 there. So this must be the view from when they're cross-loading the cargo.
So just to break that down, this player, the Paladin, had set up their Caterpillar full of cargo inside an armistice zone and then waited nearby out of sight until some pirates came along, broke into it, and stole it. Then they decided that they would try to extort pirates for 5 million in-game credits so that the Paladin would not report the pirates. Now, my crew knows that this tactic is legal, and we have been doing it for years and have not really caught any flack from CIG for doing that. So they basically laughed it off. However, one of our other members caught wind of this and decided that they would put in a ticket with CIG. And CIG actually responded with something that I thought was pretty interesting and wanted to share with everyone. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. We used a Fury to break into a trader's ship since he was seemingly nowhere to be found. Apparently, he was hiding, just watching us, then decided the real game was in the reports. I don't think that using this system is a proper manner to fight back against pirates, but felt it prudent to ask. Is forcibly entering a ship while in armistice acceptable gameplay? He apparently does these reports a lot as well. Thanks, guys.
Alright. There's a few assumptions being made here. Now, using a Fury to break into a trader's ship since he was seemingly nowhere to be found. No mention that the ship was in an armistice zone until we get to this question here. Now, this is an assumption that they were just hiding and watching us and then decided that the real game was in the reports. You know, an assumption and an assertion based on their observation and, you know, a bias created by the person who was talking to him in chat. Providing an opinion, and then the question there. The way that you structure asking questions is just as important as the way that an answer is structured in response to it. So this is a statement here. We used a Fury to break into a trader ship since he was seemingly nowhere to be found. You know, what proof did they have? You know, they're just making a statement. You know, where was the trader's ship? Could be anywhere. Could be in the middle of space, could be, you know, in the middle of a field, could be on a landing pad, you know, could be, you know, anywhere in the game space. They don't say that it's inside an armistice zone, which I think is, you know, a crucial point. Because breaking into a trader ship and then a forcible entry while a ship is in armistice can mean two different things. You know, like the ship could be open and you just running up the ramp could be considered a forcible entry. You weren't invited, so you're forcing yourself onto the ship. It's not your fault that it's open. but it's implied, and this is the thing, and it's kind of frustrating that a lot of people come to this conclusion that ramming ship doors in armistice zones is allowed, or just breaching ship doors inside an armistice zone is permitted. Because when the question is structured like this with this entire story, and is forcibly entering a ship while in armistice acceptable gameplay? Well, yeah, but CIG, when we get to their response, I'll break that down and I'll explain a few things out of that. But this question here, is very ambiguous and open-ended. They only narrow the scope of what they're looking for is the location being an armistice zone and whether or not it's acceptable gameplay. So forcibly entering a ship, they don't mention if it's someone else's or your own. It's just a ship, could be anyone's, including your own, which would seem dumb, but it's when you're asking questions and you want a clear-cut answer, you need to ask your questions as though the person you're asking is dumb as dog shit. So is breaching another player's ship whilst in an armistice zone on a landing pad acceptable gameplay? Would have been a more succinct and correct question to be asking, but they don't. Is forcibly entering a ship while in an armistice acceptable gameplay? %, Tolver. Yeah, I agree with it. But the reaction from the player base that we're seeing right now is that players are just assuming, like pirate players, the tourists mainly, are assuming that, hey, we've just been given free reign, and the haulers are now all sitting there going, what do we do against this? How do we beat, how do we fight up it, how do we combat this? Anyway, we'll keep watching.
So CIG gives the kind of typical response when you filed any kind of report against another player. They say, thank you for bringing this to our attention. We do take all reports regarding in-game player behavior seriously and investigate accordingly. We appreciate the evidence provided. This is now being reviewed by our team. As this involves another player's account, we will not be able to provide updates to you on this specific case. But please know we're actively looking into this situation. If there is any additional information, please feel free to reply to this email. So, we follow up. Sorry to bother you further, but I am...
Obviously, the response from CIG is the, generic response. I'm pretty sure it's auto-generated just so that you get a response from... so that you feel like they've at least acknowledged, your email or your report. Now, this is the next part where following up. Well, listen here, I'll get Dirty to read it out because I'm not going to.
Just requesting confirmation that forcibly entering someone's ship, as long as they are not on a spawnable pad, regardless of armistice zone, is in fact legitimate gameplay. If it's easy to do so as well, could you also confirm that weaponizing the report system is also an abuse of game systems? And may I please use this email thread to amend the rules in which my org follows, as well as make public your answers.
Alright. Requesting confirmation that forcibly entering someone's ship, as long as they are not on a spawning pad, regardless of armistice zone, is in fact legitimate gameplay. There are no outposts there are no armistice zones that don't have landing pads on them or spawning pads. Pretty much every outpost that has an armistice zone has the ability to spawn a vehicle there. Now, once again, forcibly entering. Now, I'm pretty confident that, Chaos Squad Squad, Captain Ernie and all that, when they say forcibly entering someone's ship, they're talking about the door being closed and locked, and then they break the door so that it opens. But, you know, if you're not looking at this from a pirate's perspective, forcibly entering someone's ship could mean running up the ramp, as I stated before. The door is already open, you're not invited onto that ship, yet you run onto it. You've just forcibly entered somebody's ship. It's like when, you know, you walk into somebody's house that you haven't been invited into, you're forcing entry. Even if you're not making any sort of physical contact with a door or anything like that, the doors could be wide open and you could just walk in. That's a forced entry because you weren't invited in. You're forcing yourself into that place. So a forcible entry is one of those things, and it seems like, nitpicky shit. But the reason why I'm bringing this point up is because this is something that COG could use later on to backtrack on, their next response, which, we'll get to that, where they can backtrack and say, oh yeah, when we answered this, when you said forcibly entering someone's ship, we thought, we assumed that the door was already open and you were just walking on or running on or jumping on or driving on. Not you were breaking the door open, damaging the door enough so that it would open under the breaching mechanics that we currently have. Now, they could mean that. They could understand that. CRG may actually understand what they mean by this 100%. But that's an assumption. Just like the assumption that forcibly entering, CRG could interpret that as, oh, the door's already open. You're just walking onto somebody else's ship uninvited. And, weaponizing the report system is also an abuse of game systems. Like, the reporting system isn't in-game, so they're not abusing a game system there. They're abusing the reporting system. Weaponizing the reporting system, is an abuse of the reporting system. And, it's a bullying tactic of players. This here, however, I think this was thrown in there here as like a bit of an incentive to respond with an answer. Because they're like, hey, we want to play by the rules. We want to make sure that we're not, overstepping our boundaries. So can you give us an answer so that we can make sure that we're compliant? Which, is a completely reasonable thing to, expect. And it's frustrating because we shouldn't have to ask for this. Like, we should have this information accessible at all times. We shouldn't have, Captain Dirty shouldn't need to make a video about this. CID should be telling us this from the get-go. Yeah, well, that's just it, Adrian. And it's also taking, gameplay out of gameplay space. It's like, do as I want in the gameplay space, or you suffer real-world consequences for it, which is bullshit. Gameplay should stay in the gameplay space.
CIG responds again, and they say, attempting to / succeeding in gaining control of a ship, regardless of where it occurs, equals piracy. The crime / law system isn't perfect right now and will be getting improvements as the game comes along, but theft / piracy is not a reportable offense. As for weaponizing reporting, there's no such thing. All reports are reviewed and vetted before any action is taken. We do not blindly follow reports, and most people who say reported don't even follow through. Players that are found to be abusing the support system to ticket in and report players may find themselves in trouble too, but rest assured all reports are reviewed. I'm leaving the name blank. This is Game Support Specialist from RSI.
Alright. The first paragraph, let's break this down. So the first part, attempting to, succeeding in gaining control of a ship regardless of where it occurs equals piracy. Regardless of where it occurs, not how it occurs. And this is why I brought up the point about, you know, the use of the words forcible entry versus, you know, something like breaking open the door. Because those are two different things. Like, you can force entry by breaking open a door, or the door could already be open and you just walk in and you just weren't invited. You've just forced entry. And this is why, you know, like, everybody's getting their fucking knickers in the knot about this, but also, you know, fucking the pirate tourists have seen this and they're going, fuck, we can do this now. No, I wouldn't. Because this is where rules lawyering can come to fucking play. Because they're not saying that you can do it. They're not saying that you can breach doors, you know, use ships to crack open doors in an armistice zone. They're saying attempting to, succeeding in gaining control of a ship regardless of where it occurs equals piracy. The how may actually be, you know, the issue, and that's what the actual issue is. You see, they're not really that concerned with where it's at. Where it's at is only part of the problem. How they're actually getting into that ship, you know, matters just as much as where it's being done at. Which is why, you know, like, people sitting there going, oh, we can do it now. No, we didn't get, this is not from CIG. This is not confirmation of a rule. This isn't a definition of what you can and can't do. This is them making a statement. Attempt to gain and succeeding in gaining control of a ship, regardless of where it occurs, equals piracy. Yeah, no shit. But you can, though. Pad ramming to me is only bypassing armistice zone to kill a player/destroy a ship. Yeah, Baba Yaga, I'm actually going to be talking about that soon too. Adrian, I'm not too sure what you mean by your comment, mate. If you mind, would you mind further clarifying what you mean, though? Like you said, but and though. I think I may have missed the part that you're referring to. I'll just continue when I get your response. I'll respond to that. Now, you know, the crime/law system isn't perfect right now because the game's still being built. Now, you know, theft and piracy is not a reportable offense yet. No shit, we already know that. It's intended gameplay. But the attempting to and succeeding to gaining control of a ship regardless of where it occurs equals piracy. You know, like if the ramp's down, you run up inside the ship, you know, jump in the chair and then fly off. You know, that's piracy. CIG's cool with that. But how did you get into the ship in the first place? Was the ramp already open, or did you break it open? And then if you broke it open, how? Where was the ship when the ramp got broken open? Because we know that pad ramming is a, you know, people say bannable, but, you know, you end up with a suspension. Yeah, Baba Yaga, it's always been the intention that Star Citizen will have piracy in it. But with what we're talking about here, and with what, you know, we're going into the nitty-gritty. We're going into the nitty-gritty here of, you know, like, what is actually considered acceptable gameplay and what isn't. You know, what would be considered fair and what isn't. Now, the pad ramming, the idea of pad ramming and destroying a ship, the reason why that rule came about was because when we first started, we only had one location, and it was essentially if you could get, up on into your ship first, you could start ramming all the other ships and nobody else could play. And it's kind of just stuck around. Now, with regards to what's happening here, is that it's an iterative process. We're dealing with systemic design, and when you're dealing with systemic design, there's going to be outcomes, there's going to be things that will happen that are unexpected and not accounted for. Now, it only takes damage. You only need to do damage to a ramp or a ship door to open it. It can be in a lock state, it takes enough damage, it goes into an unlock state. Now, we know that ramming a ship can also do damage to it. So, the systemic design here is that your ship can do damage to another ship by hitting it, physical contact. Your ramps and doors on a ship can take damage, regardless if it's ballistic or physical. It's a form of kinetic damage that needs to be, happen to the door. And this is the thing about this, is that the systemic design means that if you apply, if you ram a ship door, the systemic design results in the door taking damage and opening up. Now, is that a fair way of going about things? How does the hauler defend against that? And that's why, this is one of the questions that needs to be answered. CIG could address this by changing the way that the armistice zones work. My personal opinion is that pirates shouldn't be able to get anywhere near an armistice zone, but we would need the reputation system to be in place where you can gain a reputation that persists for the crimes that you commit, and if you become known as a pirate, then you're not welcome at most, law-abiding, locations. But we don't have that yet. See, Adrian, that's where I disagree in the most extreme form here, because there's no way to stop somebody from doing that. Like, it's not a fair gameplay aspect of Star Citizen at all. Like, you crack a door open in an armistice zone, the hauler, what can they do? They can't stop you. They're not allowed to ram you. They're not allowed to ram you to destroy your ship and prevent you from doing it. So what? They just got to accept the fact that you're going to crack the door open? They got to hope that they can get to the bloody, pilot seat before you do? That's not fair at all. Who the fuck would want to play a game like that? Not here to play fair? There's a difference between playing fair within the game rules and then the gameplay being so far one-sided that others just won't want to play. And that's the problem that I take with this, and the interpretation that we're seeing here. And this is the point that I'm getting around to. They should incorporate a way to open doors in armistice zones. I agree with that too, but not yet. Because how's the other person supposed to defend against that? Like, I'm gonna tell you guys something. Like, put yourself on the receiving end of this. You're the guy being the whore. You've landed on the landing pad. You can't leave somebody in the ship at the moment because the game design won't allow a person to stay on board while you're buying or selling cargo. So everyone has to leave the ship. So you can't leave somebody in the pilot's chair to defend the ship to make sure nobody else can take it from you. So what do you do then? Like, that's an actual problem. This is a genuine problem. Like, do you want to be in that sort of position where you just watch some dickhead run onto your ship, fly off with all the cargo that you just bought? without any sort of effort. Sometimes you can be as careful as you want, and it doesn't matter. See, I'm for the type of gameplay that is considered fair, where everybody has the same options. So if I can break onto your ship, you should be able to stop me. Yeah, like, as far as I'm concerned, if I can break onto your ship, you should be able to stop me from breaking onto your ship, regardless if I'm in an armistice zone or not. Well, here's the problem. How do you stop somebody in an armistice zone who's able to, who, according to the, interpretations of some, are allowed to ram open your ramp, but you can't stop them by ramming their ship and destroying them? Get rid of the armistice zone authorized to sell. Yeah, those are all things that we could do now, Telva. Or like that CIG could implement in the future. Whether or not they prioritize is another thing. Like, and those are all things that we want. But we don't have that yet. And what I want to, put across to the community, before people start sitting there going, is armistice zone ramming allowed? CIG hasn't confirmed that at all. Yeah, like I agree, King, that you should be able to defend your ship. Like, I was happy to hear about the what was it, the trespassing changes that they were going to make for player ships when they were slated for 320 and then they pulled them away. But this, it's dumb. But the thing is like, yes, you can do it. But what we're seeing here doesn't mean that, you can do it, as in the system allows you to do it. But this isn't CIG saying, yeah, you can do it, and then you're permitted to. We're okay with it. They haven't said that at all. And this is the thing, is like, the language matters. The language matters a lot. Attempting to succeed in gaining control of a ship regardless of where it occurs equals piracy, not how it occurs. We know that ship ramming, pad ramming is something that CIG doesn't like. Pad ramming involves your ship ramming another one. It doesn't actually state that you have to destroy it either. It just says that you have to do it. The other ship could be fine. Could be intact and it just goes flying off into the bloody, you did it to a ship that was on a landing pad, that is exposed to space, and they just go flying off into the, into the black. Blame the game, not the players. Well, the game is at fault here, but the problem is that we're going to see players abusing the gameplay, thinking that they're okay when they're not. And that's the point that I'm trying to get to here, is like, people are interpreting this as CIG saying that it is okay to ram ship doors open in an armistice zone. That doesn't say it at all. It doesn't say it at all. So you know what's going to happen? if it happens enough where players are just going nuts and just ramming ship doors open to run on board and steal the ship and fly away, you know what's going to happen? CIG is going to go, all right, well, you know, we've received all these reports that these players are doing this, and they're going to start handing out suspensions. And then people are going to go, what are you talking about? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? You know, you said it was okay. You know, Captain Dirty said it was okay. They've got a customer ticket saying it was okay. And CIG just, you can turn around and say, it doesn't say that at all. It doesn't say that you can ram a ship, ram open a ship ramp. It just says that succeeding in gaining in control of a ship regardless of where it occurs equals piracy. But we also have a rule against ramming ships. There you go. And this is one of the reasons why, you know, it's still one of those things where you need to be careful of how you play this game, what you do. You know, record your gameplay, because you may have to try and protect yourself against this sort of shit because you're under the wrong impression. Telva, we already know that CIG is going to do something about the armistice zones. Like, we can keep sitting there saying that they need to do X. They already know that they need to do X. It really comes down to when they get around to it. It's, you know, like, everybody that wants to, you know, engage in, you know, the gameplay of Star Citizen at, you know, deeper levels, you know, they want the armistice zone to evolve, you know, so that there are turrets and that you can use your weapons there to defend yourself, and you can attack, you know, outposts and things like that. It's planned for, not implemented. So we're playing the game that's in front of us. I'm going to keep watching this so that we can get through this, because we've still got the other stuff to react to too, and it's going to be a lot. The second part, the weaponizing reporting, them saying there's no such thing, that's a load of shit, and it's ironic that they're saying that because they literally got screenshots of somebody threatening to report them unless they paid them 5 million credits in game. That's weaponizing reporting. So sit there and say that, you know, that's not, doesn't bode well for the fact that these guys actually read and understood what was going on. You know, like, they do their investigations and it's like, are you serious? Did you actually look at the fucking screenshots? Somebody was threatening to report me because, you know, I'm doing something that they don't like, and if I don't pay them X amount of credits, they're going to report me. Holy shit. And I'm quite confident that they don't blindly follow reports. Somebody probably just tells them, you know, after they hear, you know, get a cursory look at the report itself, and, you know, somebody adjudicates above them and goes, yeah, just do this. Well, that's a problem there, Dark, because if 5 people manage to get onto your ship, then, you know, even if you get to kill one of them, the other 4 are still going to get you. Unless you make the cooldown, you know, bloody, so that the person who owns the ship doesn't have to go through a cooldown and the trespassers do, in which case that would just be shit. It's like, I can't use my weapon. All you see is, like, you know, 5 people just run onto a ship and then starburst and, you know, start dodging fire until they can pull out their weapons. It'd actually be quite funny. But, you know, like, it's not, I don't think that's a good way of going about it. But, you know, like, it's concerning that it received an example of weaponizing customer support, you know, weaponizing the reporting system, They're trying to say this. It's like, dude, I literally just showed you. You're not paying attention, CIG. You're not paying attention. This doesn't, doesn't inspire confidence that you are.
So, what does this mean? There are two big takeaways here. The first one is this seems to be very clear confirmation that using a ship inside of an armistice zone to ram another ship open is not a reportable offense.
No, it's not. It isn't. They're interpreting the response the way that they want. I read this and it doesn't confirm it at all. Well, CIG has said that, yeah, like attempting to or succeeding in gaining control of a ship regardless of where it occurs equals piracy. Not how it occurs. Like that word, if they had said how it occurs equals piracy, I would have been like, yep, they just greenlit it. But it says where, not how. And you don't need to always crack open the doors on a ship to be able to get into it. Sometimes the owner just opens up the doors. Sometimes they invite you to the party and you just open the doors yourself and run in. And those scenarios there, when you pass the threshold of a ship, could be considered a forcible entry. Just like shooting the doors open or running the door open. So, yeah, I disagree with Dirty on this one. Like, this is not a clear-cut, case where using a ship to ram open another ship's door in an armistice zone is not a reportable offense. Like, that is, to me, that's a reach. You're reaching right there. I guarantee you that if CIG wants to reverse on it, they can. Because of that word right there, where.
So it doesn't seem to matter if they're in the air or on a pad or next to the pad. I think as long as you can't spawn a ship on the pad and, they're anywhere else, they're free game. But I would still avoid the Platinum Bay pads, even though you're not really going to find cargo ships sitting on that, so it doesn't really matter, right? Now for the second part. As for weaponizing reporting, there's no such thing. I disagree with that. I do think there's a contingent of players that are using the report system to threaten and bully other players, namely PvP-oriented players, into playing the game in a way that is consistent with the PvE players' ideals. I've been seeing a lot of it, actually, in the last few weeks.
Yeah, you provided an example to CIG along with the fucking report that you guys made. Like, that was an example of weaponizing, the reporting system. I don't think he brings it up.
This is just another example. Now, a little bit further down, they say that players that are found to be abusing the support system to ticket in and report players may find themselves in trouble too. And this, I think, is probably the most interesting part of this message. This is confirmation that they are considering people who are falsely reporting other players and, piling on report ticket after report ticket and bogging the game developers down and the support specialists down with these nonsense, reports. This is considered a violation.
But we only ever know of one case where there was a member of the community who was essentially refunded. They refunded their account Anirul. If you've heard of Anirul, you'll know the story. And that's because he exposed it himself. He showed it on a stream, I think it was, and essentially got told, here's your money back, mate. Don't fucking come back. You've made too many reports. You're wasting our time. You've just been a pest. Here's your money. Go away. Don't come back. Don't buy another account. Which is a pretty big deal. At the same time, like, that is the only one that we know of where a player has been banned or, received any sort of punishment for abusing the support system. We haven't heard of any other examples, because CIG won't tell us, and, those who do get in trouble, if they do, wouldn't say anything. Like, it's not normal for somebody to go, yeah, I got in trouble for this. Like, we wouldn't have known about Captain Dirty receiving a warning for excessive griefing earlier in the year if he hadn't made a video about it and provided the evidence. Well, there's a lot of people in that position there, Dark. That's the thing there, is that we've got to take their word on it. But it's hard when they're not clear-cut here. Like, they didn't answer Captain Dirty's question, even though Captain Dirty's question wasn't that clear-cut either. You could interpret it as though they were talking about using a ship to ram open a door. But you could also just sit there and go, well, this statement here is true, regardless, gaining control of a ship. Don't mention anything about how you get into the ship, how you gained control of the ship. It's just talking about the location. So if you manage to gain control of a ship inside of an armistice zone, COG considers that piracy. But, if you ram the ship door open while it's an armistice zone, you still may get trouble. And the next problem about this, you get your buddy to ram the ship door open, and then you run on. I didn't ram the door. My buddy did. He gets a vacation for a couple of days. You get the ship. You committed an act of piracy, right? It's it's one of those things where it's like it opens up a can of worms. And then you got to consider the other side. How do they defend against this? How do they defend against it? The game systems need to catch up to provide them, to empower them so that they can. We're going to have something soon. But, CIG pulled the plug on it for now. It's going to come back later. When that is, no one knows. So, yeah. This is one of those things where it's like, you could abuse this still, but those who are ramming ship doors open, you're not protected by this. This doesn't state that you can do it. Like, if you had CIG saying attempting to succeeding in gaining control of a ship regardless of how it occurs equals piracy, fucking, fill your boots, go ram all the ship doors in every single armistice zone. But it doesn't say that. It says where. Right, let's finish this video off. We're going to move on.
And I doubt these folks are going to get banned outright, but I'm sure they're getting warnings and possibly even suspensions if they're continuing to behave in that manner. So I think that this is good news. I think, first of all, clarifying the rules about what is and is not allowed inside the armistice zone is important and good for both the pirates and the Care Bears. We all know now where the line is, so thank you to this support specialist. I appreciate it. I know a lot of other people will also.
the line was not drawn in this one. I'm just going to switch over to face cam for a second while I get the next video ready. Yeah, like I've already said it enough times now. And ironically, the next video that I'm going to be showing, which ties into this, kind of adds more weight to the point that I'm making. And people can sit there and say, oh, but you know, destroying a ship is different. You're attacking another player inside an armistice zone. Ramming a ship door open is still an attack. You know, knocking, you know, using a box to knock a player around. It's a form of attacking them inside an armistice zone. It's one of the reasons why I don't like armistice zones. You know, PvE based servers in other games. You know, people think, oh yeah, it's you know, brilliant. You know, griefers can't get us. It's like, no, you just made it easier because you can't fight back, or you got to fight back the exact same way that they're attacking you. In which case, you're engaging in PvP. The only way that you can have a true PvE experience where another player can't affect you is by, you know, making players invincible to each other and can't enact any sort of force on the other player, which is not what Star Citizen has been built to do. Anyway, we're going to go into the next video, which ties into all of this, and it involves a couple of friends of Mongrel Squad. So this is Gracie Khaleesi's video. Actually, I should grab the links, shouldn't I? The links are in the description as well. I already closed Captain Dirty's video. Actually, I should just be able to right-click and reopen close tab.
Pirates are griefers and griefers.
Slow down. I like the intro as well. I really do. Thought that was cool. Alright, so if you haven't watched it, it's in the bloody... That's Captain Dirty's video. Watch it when you're at your own convenience. And this one is Gracie Khaleesi's video. Fresh off the editing, fresh off the printing press. It's a fucking video. I can't think of a bloody word for it. It's a day old now. The pad ram wars begins now. Pirates versus trade in Star Citizen. We'll start watching this. It involves, like, this is just Gracie's reaction, and it involves a friend of Mongrel Squad too. AKA Jack Axton.
He's back! Jack is back! The cargo hauling warrior, the pirate pillin' badass, the mean caterpillar pirate is back! Man, you neckbeards need to learn not to mess with Jack. He keeps owning pirates left and right. And this time he took out 2 Cuddy Blues by himself? Straight freight train them both!
Oh no, I've lost control.
Don't sound too sincere there, Jack.
Ah, negative, Biker. They cannot. Oh, I can win this fight. Time to go.
But the way he did it brings up an issue, because there is a war happening right now. A war you may not know about. It is a war happening inside of armistice zones. The pad ramming war. And ramming goes both ways, my friends. Yeah, it goes both ways. Usually it's the Care Bears crying in global chat and reporting, but look at this. This pirate is crying in global chat and reporting Jack. Wow, how the tables have turned. Now, I personally do not pad ram because I was under the impression that it is against TOS.
Gonna pause here quickly. Like, one, Greasy, it's not against TOS. It doesn't mention pad ramming specifically. However, it can be covered under the TOS because CIG can decide whatever the fuck they want based on the terms of service. So if they want to ban you for something, whatever they say is whatever goes. That's pretty much it for the majority of games, right? That said, you know, this happened not long after Captain Dirty's video went out. And it's pissed off a lot of haulers. I imagine Jack is actually one of them considering his actions. And it's understandable. It's understandable with the whole, you know, like interpretation that people have sitting there going, oh, the pirates can just ram open our ship doors and there's nothing that we can do about it. Which, you know, is false. Report it to CIG. Because they didn't say you can ram ship doors open. They just said that, you know, attempting to or succeeding in gaining access to a ship equals pirate, or regardless of where it happens, equals piracy. Not how. If you're breaching ships in an armistice zone by ramming them, which isn't against CIG's terms of service, but is listed as a reason for giving out warnings and suspensions in a Spectrum post about excessive griefing. Well, they talk about pad ramming there. But ramming of ships, you know, inside an armistice zone could be considered an abuse of aim mechanics. And that's part of the reason why Jack, you know, he ends up with a suspension. Thank you, Barrack. But that's the thing is, like, you know, obviously the response, you know, is upsetting. You know, it's legit piracy. That's a reference to Captain Dirty's post, his video. Well, I've actually got the live stream, so I'm just gonna... I've got the live stream and we actually I'll start it from where it starts here, because Greasy doesn't show the whole thing. So we're gonna watch pretty much the entire piracy encounter. Alright, we're going to watch the entire piracy encounter from Jack's perspective.
Tell us about it. Tell us about the
So he's just bought cargo. He's about to leave.
Uh-oh. A Cutlass Blue. Oh no. Oh no. Now this person might actually get us. Let's see if we can repeat what we did last time. Well, Coyote, you don't happen to be around Microtech right now, do you, buddy? You know, I could just drive the Centurion that's just parked right there.
So the blue's creeping in.
18. Oh, that's fair, man. Well, tell us all about it.
You can see it, see the distance dropping.
Listen, I'm actually a stranger when it comes to Indian weddings. All I know are my good old American weddings, and They're not always the best. You think so in civil? Tell you what, Coyote, I'm going to go ahead and preemptively send you an invite. I don't know if you're in the AO, and if you're not, it's okay. No rush. See, there he sits, broken-hearted. Also, Toby's not working.
Alright, so the blue is well within the green zone of the outpost now, so even if they wanted to turn on their dampener, they couldn't. But the caterpillar at such a low altitude is going to struggle to get through the thicker atmosphere, even with it trying to punch out with, you know, full thrust. So, yeah. I want to point out that when Jack first spotted them, they were nearly 22 kilometers away, and his loitering around in the armistice zone pretty much caused the pirate to come in closer, whose name is Spectre M full 10. I don't know. Let's keep watching.
See, I might as well let him clear, because if I can get him close, then let him do his interdiction, I can maybe stay close enough to where he can't fire missiles unless it's blind. That was the thing last time. Alright, come on, get closer, get closer. Coyote, I'm gonna go for it, see what happens. He's following out, he's following out. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Armistice zone left. What's he doing? He's staying at 1500. He's staying back. Uh-huh. You know, he's getting range. Yeah, see, he's increasing his range to launch missiles.
So, there's a reason why I'm watching the whole thing and not only Greasy's excerpt, because watching the whole thing gives context. I'm going to be quite honest, Jack has been very cocky here. Like, you know, he's confident, he's taken down a few pirates on his own now. He's confident that he can take this guy down. His ship isn't built for it. Not every pirate you're going to come across is a tourist. Now, to be honest, like, you know, he's been bored of cargo hauling. He's been doing it for so long now. I don't blame him for doing, you know, engaging in a bit of cocky gameplay. But if you're going to be cocky, you got to be prepared to wear the consequences of it.
Negative Rue. It is Spectre something. M full 10. I don't know this one. See how he's increasing his range, though? That means he wants to launch missiles.
He's reversing right now. Jack's trying to prevent him from getting that missile lock on him.
I could attempt to close range with him. You know what? Worst comes to worst, I can always come back to SMO 18.
Alright, so Jack's closed with him. He's well within, well below the missile locking range.
So tiny. Yeah, we'll just do that.
And he's kind of just playing with him at the moment.
Yeah, he wants to get behind me. That's not good. We don't like that. We don't like people getting behind us, but he's not firing.
So Jack's kind of feeling this guy out though, and part of the reason why the blue hasn't started firing at him yet is more than likely because at this range. If they do start attacking Jack, Jack's just going to float back into the armistice zone, land and wait. Because that's what callers do. And they may not know who Jack Axton is. So this is one of those situations where it's like, you need to assume that your opponents are at least competent at what they're doing. Right now, based on what I'm seeing, they're not really displaying that competence, but they're at least smart enough not to start attacking yet. And they're going to try and wait until Jack moves away from, further away from the outpost. Because attacking him here isn't going to achieve anything, so why bother?
Interesting. He probably wants us to get high enough to where he can't run back to Armistice.
More than likely.
Which, it's an interesting strategy. I like that he's not attacking just yet. I wonder if we can use that to our advantage. We'll see what happens. Like we got a quantum snare event right here. Alright, so we're gonna go slow and use that to back out. I mean, in civil, that's true. It's also only like 50 or 60 SCU of gold. He might not think it's worth it. Or he might just be walking me out. Both are slim, but it could happen. Hey, Parker. Oh, Raymond, that is awful, man. You know, if he waits until about 7,000.
It's possible that old mate doesn't know about the correction in the green zone, and he's trying to work out why his dampener isn't working yet.
We're just gonna go slow.
Either that or they think it's on and it's working.
I am sorry to also hear about the mugging.
Alright, they're about to reach the edge of the green zone for the dampener. Right, so Jack's just passed the threshold for the dampener green zone.
Engage. Right about now. No, Raymond, I'll need this. There
you go. Dampener's on. Just gonna wait until he gets further up.
Action.
So this is what we call a silent QED. And the intent is to try and, just let the whole go.
But I sure don't like being 5 clicks up and having that quantum snare. However, if we go to space, he's got the advantage on me. I wonder if it would be... You know what? We're going to do something fun. We're going to do something fun. Because he hasn't shot yet. He's probably waiting for me. Nope, there we go. You know what? I just realized Comray's not up.
Right. QED icon's still on, which means that they're far away enough from the outpost that the green zone still isn't going to affect the cutty. Now, what's happened? Just going to quickly pause here. So the reason why I know this is that the altimeter, he's down at 2.5 kilometers above the surface and still interdicted. So more than likely, they've moved far away enough from the outpost that they're outside the green zone for the dampener on the Cutlass Blue, and that that's caused the Cutlass Blue pilot to feel confident enough to start working on Jack. Now, if you're paying attention, Jack set New Babbage as his quantum travel destination. So if he wants to find the outpost again, he's going to have to go back into his mobiGlas, unselect, and initiate the quantum drive so that he can actually see where the outpost is. Yeah, chances are old mate in the blue
Here.
has started attacking because he's got a mate on the way. Now, for whatever reason, Jack has turned his engines off.
Working.
I think he was hoping to try and lull the pirate into a false sense of security so that as he's losing altitude, the pirate kind of just speeds up to follow him down. And then Jack can quickly activate, boost out, and then, you know, the pirate goes plummeting afterwards. So now we've got a second hostile contact. Jack just hit the ground.
Oh, well, I tried that. I wasn't watching my altitude.
Now, this is more a defensive flying tactic, something that I'm going to bring up here. For the hauler, your boost is crucial to being able to escape pirates. Your weapons recharging aren't as important, especially on a fucking caterpillar. Don't worry about trying to shoot the shit out of your target. Get your boost back. You should be really prioritizing shields until you've used the majority of your boost. And as soon as you start hitting that 25%, prioritize boost. Get as much juice as you can. Then switch back to shields. If you do end up using your weapons, try and get your weapons charged up a little bit, but, you know, half mag them. Don't charge them all the way up because it's pointless. But yeah, like, Jack is actually making quite a few mistakes right now. One of them is not making sure that he's got enough boost there, because that boost is really what's going to give him the ability to outmaneuver the Cutlass Blue at the lower altitudes. Because most Cutlass, you know, most pirate players don't know how to use the Cutlass Blue at lower altitudes.
I don't know why he's letting me stay nose on him, though.
Alright. Jack has hit the ground. So his buddy who's come in, so there's two reds.
No, where is that?
His buddy's come in and started dropping missiles on him. He's gonna crash. He's gonna hit the ground. Oh, oh, oh. Get him, Jack. Get him. Like, Jack's starting to pull, you know, it was pulling up a bit of a fight there.
Ah, two blues.
If you're paying attention, the quantum interdiction markers disappeared.
Under the ground.
Which means that they must be closer to the outpost.
Yep. Back to Armistice.
There you go. Yeah.
If I could borrow you, I would greatly appreciate it. If not, it's okay. Nah, curious, just me. They're probably about to get very frustrated.
Right. I'm going to pause quickly. We do this in Mongrel Squad. We see the hauler making their way back to the armistice zone. The hauler is damaged. We don't want them to repair themselves, because it's going to be one of those situations where it's going to be more difficult, more time to take them down. So what we'll do is we'll land on the landing pads to deny them the ability to access the services, because most of the time the landing pads break when you got two ships on it. Pay attention to Jack's speed as well. And this is another reason why he should be focusing more on getting his boost up.
Oh no, I've lost control.
Where's your first ram?
Ah, negative, biker. They cannot.
Now that first one, you could forgive as he lost control of his ship. He didn't have enough boost. He was moving at as fast as what the caterpillar could move at that altitude. He wouldn't be able to reverse thrust enough to be able to, you know, get out of it. Colliding with the ship, the caterpillar's going to win. The second ship, on the other hand.
Oh, I can win this fight. Time to go.
Now that blue just hovering there and getting rammed midair inside an armistice zone, that is more than likely what Jack got done for. Because the first one, you could argue that it was an accident, give Jack the benefit of the doubt. But the second one, that was intentional. And, you know, those pirates fucking got what they deserved. Eat a bag of dicks, you suck. But, you know, like, the rules apply to everyone. Sucks, Jack, that you got suspended for a few days, but ramming ships in an armistice zone, CIG said it. And the fact that you're a prominent, you know, content creator kind of makes it clear that if they don't make an example of you, that, you know, others are going to think that it's okay. Yes, Jack got in trouble for it. Still weak to report it? Yeah, but people are going to do it. And that's one of the reasons why, you know, you've got to play the game as though fucking somebody is watching. You know, do the right thing regardless of, you know, who's watching. So, you know, that's why I see that video from Captain Dirty, and then I see this. Pretty confident CIG ain't fucking, you know, didn't give permission for shit about ramming doors open in an armistice zone. But then turn around and say you can't ram ships in an armistice zone. I'm going to make this point. I've made it a couple of times, so I'm going to make this point. The rules are whatever the fuck CIG says they are. When they say them. Whenever they decide to say them. However they decide to say them. They could turn around and say pad ramming, you know, is okay one day and then change their mind the next day and then change their mind back the day after and just keep flip-flopping all over the place. They don't do it because it'll piss off their customer base and they start getting less money. But, you know, this is the reality that we've all got to face until all the systems are complete. We have, you know, the intervention from CIG's customer service where they will adjudicate and make decisions based on evidence provided. You know, it's fucking a bitch move to report it. But at the same time, we're all playing the same game and we're all following the same rules. If they turn around and say jump, you say how high. And you jump as high as they tell you to. Because everybody has to. As I said before, the first ship, I would put it down to, yeah, he lost control, he couldn't stop. Yeah, he's obviously not going to be upset that he accidentally ran and destroyed one of the attackers. But the other guy, yeah, like, that was targeted. You could tell it was targeted, and it's shit. But other pirates, yeah, eat a bag of dicks, you guys suck. You got bloody taken out by a caterpillar. You know, get fucking good. It's bullshit because as far as I'm concerned, you should be able to do all this. The pirates shouldn't even be getting that close to the outpost. There should be turrets there. There should be missile turrets. There should be a security system. There's supposed to be all these other systems in, but we don't have them yet. And because we're missing all those systems, there's going to be adjudication coming from CIG on how to play the game to try and make it sure it's fair for others. That's why when I watched this, and you know, going back to Captain Dirty's video, CIG didn't give anyone permission to be ramming ship doors open in an armistice zone. And it's just going to come down to somebody reporting you for it. I don't think I ever saw a pirate get a ban for actual pad ramming so far. Well, unless they tell you, you're not going to know. Ramming a smaller ship with your bigger ship is a massive trope in all sci-fi movies and games. Yeah, but that doesn't matter in this case. We're talking about rules. It's bullshit. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's bullshit. It's a bullshit rule. The game system should be handling this, not fucking customer support. But we play the game that's in front of us. And here's the other side of it, guys. Is like, you know, Jack, being a content creator, being a streamer, ramming ships inside an armistice zone, other content creators have been, you know, suspended as well for it. Who was it, that HCV Vertigo guy? Whatever the fuck his name is, Vertigo dude. You know, he was pad ramming. He pad rammed a bounty. Didn't care. Got a copped a suspension for that. When NPC ships get ram you, they get banned too. You don't know, man. You have no idea. We don't know if they get banned. Maybe they do. They get put onto a little hard drive and just put in their corner, left there for a couple of days, and they get slotted back into the server. Yeah, like, you know, people are sitting there going, this is bullshit. I agree, it is bullshit, but we're all bound by the same rules. Jack broke them, and because of his position as a content creator and a streamer, CIG is going to come down on it. But yeah, we'll go back to Greasy's video because, you know, the rest of, like, the stream continues and Jack keeps playing, but the next part that, you know, Jack kind of focuses on is the chat.
Nah, we're not even going to stick around to repair, Parker.
Yeah, same sorrow. Like, I've been in that same situation. You know, I've been rammed, attempted to, you know, people have attempted to ram me. I've never reported it either. Like, it's a bitch move.
Yeah, not even going to stick around.
Especially when you're engaging in fucking combat. You attack someone, and then bloody, you know, they fight back, and they fight back the way that you don't like, so you go, you know what, I can use the rules. Weaponize customer support for the win. Eat a bag of dicks, Jack Axton. I'm going to weaponize customer support.
Oh, Cowdy,
fucking,
I think we're clear now.
Here you go.
Yeah, exactly, Arcturus.
I want to see if we can...
Oh, Parker, let him.
He does start... He does start talking
what
about...
did I do wrong, you know?
Ooh,
Besides, Parker, didn't
is
you
it chat?
hear ramming ships and armistice at outposts is okay now?
He's referencing Captain Dirty's video. The reason why I've switched to this view is because Jack actually has his replay going, and is this top? Do I have access to the live chat? Do I have to play it? Yeah. Yeah, so some of the guys are saying, pointing it out here. Yeah, here we go. Parker, can you see? Yeah, you can. Hopefully no emails from CIG tomorrow. Well, unfortunately, you got an email. And, you know, like, we'll go back to this view. So his chat is, like, even warning him out. And as Jack's pointed out, you know, he's referencing Captain Dirty's video.
Apparently that's piracy. You know, in-game chat has been a little quiet. Is it still going to my visor? Or is in-game chat just working? There we go. Pagan, apparently according to...
So Zim was the second Cutlass that got rammed. And if you're looking up here, you just got a double report Jack, pad ramming in an armistice zone, and ramming an armistice zone. Bitch. ZIMM1. Bitch. Fucking... Those types of players are going to be the reason why CIG comes down harder on PP than fucking, you know, anything that will do. "100% Mario. Good to see it too. Feels like a setup, possibly. Possibly a setup. But like, you know, you get into a fight and then you fucking get upset that they fought back the way that you don't like. That's why I said, you know, we'll spell bitch for you. ZIMM1. Bitch. 100%. It's a dog move. Fucking dog move. To sit there and say that you're reporting somebody because they fought back with the tools that they had inside the armistice zone is bullshit. Unfortunately, they could leverage that. And that's how they're able to, you know, have an effect. That's weaponized custom support. Kestrel, try switching from top chat to live chat as the options. It's a dog act. Fucking dog act. You lose a fight and then you go report them because you can get them on a technicality.
According to CIG. Exactly, Silas. Pagan, if you give me a moment, I'll grab the shot for you. Exactly, Uncivil. They're mad. Oh, they mad. They mad. Yeah, Chaos actually put a video about it. I did, Raymond.
We'll let them decide, right? You won't be the first I get banned. Just like pirates can't ram your doors, you can't ram pirates. Now, once again, I don't think Dirty was, Captain Dirty from Chaos Squad was attempting to spread misinformation. I think it's a misinterpretation of what CIG's told them. And unfortunately, everybody else jumped on the bandwagon as well because I heard the explanation and went, oh shit, he's right. And I don't believe that that's what CIG meant at all. Fucking Jack farming salt.
All right. To Art Corp we go.
But this is what I mean, like, this fucking shit here, you're a kid, dude, enjoy your suspension. Like, they fucking know what they're doing. They're probably baiting that sort of shit. Like, Jack broke the rules. You're not supposed to be ramming ships in Armistice Zone. Problem is that he was under a false impression caused by a video that was a misinterpretation from a customer support ticket from CIG. And that's what I'm saying. What Captain Dirty put out in his video doesn't mean what he thinks it means, because we now have evidence of somebody getting fucking a suspension for ramming another ship in an armistice zone, which, regardless if you're ramming the door open or not, you're still ramming another ship in an armistice zone. Because they don't make the distinction of the ship being destroyed. They just say, ramming ships in armistice zone. Yeah, exactly, Soil. Like, if this happened to us, we'd be like, well, fuck. We would be taking the piss out of whoever got their fucking blue rammed. We would be giving them so much shit for getting rammed by a caterpillar. But here's the thing is, like, I can understand why Jack did it. Because, I imagine he's pissed off about hearing what fucking CIG put in that customer support ticket. What's this? Pirates are allowed to ram ship doors open? This is fucked. Because we can't defend against it in an armistice zone. The only defense you have against it is by ramming the other ship. And you're not allowed to do that. But yeah, the rules apply to everyone, and unfortunately, ramming ships in an armistice zone, it's not on. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't think CIG is going to bother trying to change the rules or anything like that. They'll just, wait until it blows over, and then wait for the systems to be introduced that kind of adjudicate these sorts of encounters. So, the hard armistice zone goes away, it becomes a soft armistice zone, turrets are surrounding the place, outpost. The reputation system is in place so that those who are committing acts of piracy don't have the reputation to be able to go to lawful locations without security showing up. They went for a suspension, not a warning. Jack has been in the community long enough to know the rules. And yeah, I did say it earlier, and Jay brings it up too. He's a content creator in front of a lot of people. So they're making an example of him, just like other content creators who have done similar. It is what it is. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the encounter from Jack's perspective. So I want to finish off Greasy's video. So if you want to watch it from Jack's stream again, I will drop... It's timestamped. That link right there, that is from the stream where Jack engaged the pirates, rammed them, and continued talking with them. You can watch it later. Watch the entire stream if you want, fill your boots, but that's it there. Back to Greasy's video. I want to hear what he has to say, because I haven't watched all of it yet.
And I will continue to not pad ram just to be safe, because this topic seems to be too open for interpretation at the moment. CIG initially said that pad ramming was not allowed, but that was kind of buried on a website somewhere, so how would a new player really know that without ever having seen that page? I've always wondered why CIG just did not make all ship damage invulnerable inside hard armistice zones. That would end all of this lame, crybaby cancel culture type witch hunting that we currently have. I mean, is it such a programming challenge to make this happen? So now we get word from a new video by Chaos Squad, a pirate group that has pressed CIG for clarification on the issue. According to this video by Chaos Squad, CIG now says that pirates are allowed to ram a trader ship inside an armistice zone. Well, that works both ways. Traders will defend themselves and use their size to their advantage. You scummy pirates have it all right now. A magical QED that literally is wall hack level cheese. Imagine thinking you are a badass.
Wall-hack level cheese. How else do you expect it to stop a ship from quantum traveling? Like, without bloody bringing a shit ton of damage and hoping that you can punch it down before it gets to the quantum travel ceiling. Because that works on microtech. Doesn't work on all the moves where the quantum travel ceiling is only a couple of kilometers above the surface. But yeah, like, once again, misinterpretation of the fucking wording. They don't say that it's okay to fucking ram ship doors open in order to gain access to the ship. They don't say it there at all. Remon, I can tell you now, mate. The first Cutlass got in the way of Jack's Caterpillar, but Jack didn't try and slow down. The second Cutlass didn't fly in front of Jack. It was hovering there. He rammed it. You can see it. We all saw it. There's no getting around it. It was a deliberate act. It's okay. We're okay with Jack ramming ships to defend himself. CIG, on the other hand, took a harsher approach. Okay, so, like, there's no getting around this. The suspension's already happened. Jay, you would have missed the start of this. But I'll say it this way. They say where, not how. Attempting to succeeding in gaining control of a ship regardless of where it occurs equals piracy. They don't say how it occurs. Yeah. Let's finish this one off.
QED that literally is wall hack level cheese. Imagine thinking you are a badass in a Cuddy Blue right now. It's just a stupid OP ship that presents no challenge at all. Okay. You might be asking yourself right now, wait, isn't Greasy a pirate? No, I'm not a pirate. I don't like labels. I think labels limit our true potential and stifle our growth. I am many things, just not one. I aim to be multifaceted and will align myself with what is right, not what side I am on. I am on the side of truth always. Anyway, I think we should either get rid of the hard armistice zones entirely or make it so that no damage is taken to ships inside. It's that simple. This constant back and forth between pirates and traders, between griefers and care bears, well, it should simply go away and we can focus on playing the game and not get distracted by this bullshit. This current TOS policy is outdated and the cargo refactor has changed the dynamics too much. There will be tons of problems on this topic in the future, with piracy booming, and it will only get worse, you know, once 32 SU boxes come into the game. Just imagine the battles then. But in the meantime, it looks like the pad ramming war has begun. Now which side are you on?
Yeah. Remon, they weren't trying to land in a landing pad. They weren't trying to stop Jack from landing on the landing pad. It was holding there. Jack just rammed it. Like, we all saw it, mate. It's okay. I'm glad that he rammed it. I agree with him ramming it. It's bullshit that CIG, decided to slap him with a suspension, but the rules apply to everyone, and that is one of their rules. You're not allowed to do it. It's to balance the blind ban a few months ago for the false report of the medbed spawn kill. They didn't ban... I've seen this before. People keep saying that, there was a ban out of the medbed camping thing. It wasn't a ban, it was a warning. Captain Dirty only got a warning. He didn't get a ban. Like, there's heaps of different things that CIG could do to fucking address it. We could all sit here and keep bloody, saying to CIG, what they could do to fix it. But, something needs to be said. People need to speak out against it. I don't believe that CIG greenlit ramming ships doors open in armistice at all with what they said. Which is why, my reaction, my response to this is do so at your own risk. Because we've just seen a content creator get a suspension for ramming ships in an armistice zone. Why is ramming a door open anyway? Well, Baba Yaga, it's interesting that you bring that up. Like, God mode in Armistice Zone would be easy and fast to implement, problem over until better days. It used to be like that. You used to be able to go into an Armistice Zone and you wouldn't take damage at all. And along the way, it changed. And, you know, the reality with this whole issue is that COG has an intent for how armistice zones will work. They're not going to go away like everybody thinking that they will. They'll just change. An armistice zone will still exist. An armistice zone is a designated area where, you know, you're supposed to be safe. It's just, instead of it being a hard, you know, armistice or even a soft one, it's, you know, controlled within the game systems itself. And we don't have it yet. That's the reality. We got to wait. Planned for, but not implemented. But at the end of the day, like, you know, we as players need to be able to accept the consequences of our actions and not believe everything that we get fucking told. And, you know, instead of reacting to information that somebody else puts out, sit there and analyze it before coming to a conclusion. So, you know, the reality that we're facing here is that we're going to have to play the game, you know, that's in front of us. Except the fact that CIG's customer support is going to continue adjudicating on, you know, incidences that are reported within a limited scope, you know, what we think we know and whatever CIG fucking decides to do on the day. If you're not comfortable with that, probably take a break from Star Citizen. Starfield's coming out, you know, pretty fucking soon. Or find other games, you know, to play. Other games that are more complete, and just wait till the systems have caught up with the, you know, gameplay that you desire. Stony, no, I'm not ending. We're probably about halfway through, which is a bit ironic, considering that we've only really gone through the first bit of content. Yeah, that's just it. Like, Bantha brings up probably the best point. We can't remove the armistice zones without the reputation system being in place. Like, that's the reality. It's a pretty big one, Stony, so yeah, I think it was worth the time investment. Plus, I started a little bit late and then had to do some fault finding, but I don't think I actually solved the problem. And everybody's kind of just bearing through the occasional crackles and pops coming from my mic. Critical thinking and common sense is missing nowadays. Yeah. Unfortunately, yes, but, you know, it doesn't inspire a lot of confidence when COG turns around and tells you there's no weaponization of customer support when there's two clear-cut examples. One was actually sent to them of somebody trying to weaponize customer support. And then, you know, Jack Axton's case, customer support being weaponized against him. Jack did break the rules, but I'm going to tell you right now, those guys that he went up against, I know one of them's ETF, and they know the fucking game rules as well, and it was an immediate response. I'm going to report you. Pad ramming and ramming an armistice zone. So they fucking knew what they were talking about. But I'm going to call it that because, you know, for this particular topic, because we could be here forever discussing this, and at the end of the day, it's CIG. CIG are the ones. It's, you know, it's a game issue. You know, there are systems that are planned for, not yet implemented, that we need to be introduced to be able to solve this problem. And it sucks, you know, that players are getting punished when they engage in gameplay using the systems that are available to them now, but CIG has put rules in place to say what you can and can't do, and other rules in place, you know, will eventually surface when certain circumstances happen, and you kind of have to try and, you know, feel your way through some of those. So just, you know, do the right thing even when no one's looking, because chances are someone's fucking looking. All right. That's it for that. We're moving on. Just so that you're all aware as well, I am going to be taking these bits of content that I'm reacting to in the stream and cutting them down. I did it with the first stream already, although the first there's a couple of bits from the live stream that I didn't bother putting into separate videos because I didn't feel like they needed to be. But, you know, I'll definitely be doing it for that particular topic. So it was roughly a 2-hour stream so far by the time we finished off on this particular topic, but I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to cut it down to 40 minutes for the video version. No, Jack. No, Jack doesn't have a video. All right, we're moving on. So the next bit of content that we're reacting to is a Spectrum post, and this is from Jag Hiroshi. So, weapons, components, flight changes, 2 years and no visible progress. It's a Spectrum post, and I thought it was an interesting one. Jack's been a follower of Mongrel Squad for quite a while, and he's always got a half-decent take when it comes to this sort of thing, so I thought I'd bring this to, you know, everybody's attention. I kind of skimmed through it, so I have some of an idea of what it's about, but I haven't, you know, sat down, taken the time to read through it, analyze it, think about it, react to it. So here we go. When CIG flattened weapons and components back in 3.14, I found myself taking my foot off the gas with this game. It was clear that there was a bigger plan, and this level playing field was just the first step along the way. So the changes were fine in that context. I think we all expected something as fundamental as this to shape up pretty quickly. After all, CIG wouldn't make such a drastic change unless it was part of a coherent plan. My aim was to re-engage after the changes were implemented. There were some problems with what we had before, mainly at the top end of PvP, mass driver error, etc. But we had variety. Sometimes other weapons worked in PvP, sometimes they didn't. But almost all were viable for PvE, and the range of weapons catered for various gameplay styles and sci-fi power fantasies. The changes around 3.14 collapsed that down to a very narrow selection. More often than not, repeaters, all sharing the same stats. More often than not, FRX6 shields. And the rest don't really matter, distortionist resistance aside. It was a dull change, which I took to be tough medicine for the short term. Roll forward 2 years and we're still in that narrow, flattened space. I've not seen a hint that we're any further forward. We've also heard about changes for combat maneuvering in respect of master modes, which I'm hopeful will be a positive addition. When presented at CitizenCon, it appeared to be in an advanced state as a working system, albeit focused on Squadron 42 vehicles. The majority of the outstanding work appeared to be transcribing the system across 2 Star Citizen ships. We're now heading towards CitizenCon again, and still no clearer as to the impact of this feature on Star Citizen ships. The biggest question, to my mind, is whether CIG have cracked the relationship between light, medium, and heavy fighters. Predominantly, we're still very much in a light meta, assuming the Hornet thrust change is just an absolute balls up, with turreted heavies being the obvious exception. When I look back at Star Citizen, there were some moments where it was frustrating. The early 3.0 flight model was poor in particular. However, the game felt much more exciting and far less predictable before 3.14. You'd see more exotic ships being effective, fighting in the skies over Yela, on the way down to Jumptown. Ballistic builds were viable, cannons were viable, sniping was a possibility. Yes, it can be fun. EMP felt like it meant something, etc., etc. There were more viable threats and more blades in the Swiss Army knife. 2 years of waiting for placeholder mechanics to be replaced has sapped a lot of the joy out of this game for me, along with unfun additions like mobility kills for thruster destruction, which frankly is about as welcome as licking a hot iron. It's amazing that the game has been coasting for so long in this department from a player perspective, leaving ships and combat in lackluster and monochrome state. Surely with core tech development struggling to deliver and professional development moving at a glacial pace, making flight and combat fun should be a priority. I'm genuinely confused as to why it's been left in this state. It feels like the idea was abandoned. I get that CIG have a considerable dislike of addressing when questions, but this has been outstanding for a long time, and I think the patient backers deserve answers with at least roughly hewn timescales. I'd like to know when I can put my foot back on the gas, if ever. P.S. The state of tachyons. It's a top post. Legacy devs John Pritchard, flight model 2.6.3 Control C, and then right vehicle VET, flight model, right click, delete, Control V. Somebody who wants the old flight model back from the 2.6 era. See, it's hard for me to actually comment on this after reading through it, because, you know, ETF have done tests with master modes. So I can't really talk too much about what I know on that part. The frustrating part, though, and, you know, really is the crux of the, you know, kind of like it's the crux of the point that he's making is like, we don't know shit about what's going on with this. It's been, you know, like this change was put in 2 years ago, and we don't know any more about what they're doing. We were only made aware of master modes at CitizenCon last year. We've had a few more updates on, you know, information, but it's minuscule in comparison to other things. And this is partially because of the content cadence that CIG has, and then what content that they'll actually put out. So the content that they'll actually put out is only relevant to, you know, stuff that's coming in the near term, which doesn't bode well when, you know, they make the changes, then 2 years later we're still not hearing anything more about the, you know, the combat changes that they're planning on making for flight combat. So, you know, like, Jag's seeking information. He wants to know, hey, CIG, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing with flight combat? You know, where are we at? Where are we at with flight combat? You know, like, you know, unfortunately, the best answer that I can give at the moment is like, ETF have done limited testing with master modes, which you could find out yourself by looking up the Star Citizen leaks. Outside of that, we know fuck all. We're being treated like mushrooms, kept in the dark and fed shit. You know, and he wants it to be more than, you know, what we've got now. 2 years is a long time for us. For the devs, they're probably not even noticing because they're playing more advanced builds. They're playing builds where they're, you know, messing around with it. You know, the values change for them because they can change them. They can change the characteristics of the ships, of the weapons, of the components, however they want to do testing, to see how it feels. Whereas we're stuck with the current systems that we've got. We're going to have to wait. You know, I'm going to give it an upvote. I'm going to relink it so that we can get some more upvotes on it. If you haven't read it yet, it's already linked, but I'm going to link it again in case some people's eyes are painted on and they haven't seen the link yet. Feel free to upvote it. You know, like, we want to know. Like, I want to know. Where are we at with flight combat? Are we really going to have to wait until CitizenCon to hear about it again? Why aren't we getting updates about it more regularly? You know, flight combat is actually a pretty big deal. And sure, like, you know, it's concerning that we're not really hearing about it because CIG's content cadence is based on things that are coming soon. And because we're not hearing about flight combat, you know, changes, it doesn't really inspire a lot of confidence that we're going to get any sort of changes or meaningful changes to flight combat soon. Adrian, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel people need to remember that their plane is essentially an extra to what was originally promised Squadron 42. Just be happy we get to play along with the development, or play along with development. I would agree with that if CIG stopped selling ships for Star Citizen after they hit their Kickstarter goal. Their funding model is based on selling ships for Star Citizen, not Squadron 42. The product that the majority of the backer base is paid for has been Star Citizen. So, you know, people wanting meaningful changes or even just meaningful updates, or, you know, just to be informed about the product that they've purchased. That is, in my mind, you know, something that CIG should be considering as a worthwhile endeavor to pursue in order to maintain and keep their customer base engaged with their product that they make the most money from. Panther, I thought that was interesting too. Like, it was really early on. I think part of the problem that I had with it was, like, it was almost too raw though. They were kind of like trying to force it, and one of the developers there, I don't know if you guys picked up it, but one of the developers there, I could read from his approach and body language that he wasn't comfortable talking about it because there wasn't enough information really. They didn't feel like it was worthwhile putting in front of the community. But at the same time, it's like, the community does need to get those sorts of glimpses to understand just how raw game development can actually be. Yeah, those are good points as well, Tel. And when you think about it, they don't want to be doubling up on the work. And if they've been working on master modes for as long as they have been working on the changes for the components, it's not going to be worthwhile to continue making changes in the persistent universe. Then again, their active customer base is engaged with a product already, and it would be beneficial for them to try and placate that active player base. So maybe just making changes along the way, just as a maintenance thing. Change something up, revert back, experiment. But that's the kind of the danger of being involved with a live product that hasn't been finished yet when you're creating another product that also needs to be finished. Yeah, like the weapons components and flight changes. We've had some flight change updates, like seen information about it, so we've heard something about that. Visible progress though, from the backer side, from the generic, from the majority backer player base, no visible progress. Understandable. We have to wait for CIG to really, tell us. But weapons and components, it's like, just telling us what they're thinking, what they're doing. We also had the EM missile changes. I think EM missile changes at the start of 3.17 during PTU, and then they reverted them. During 3.17's PTU, EM missiles were doing distortion damage. Well, yeah, Raymond, it's one of those things where it's going to be interesting to see how CIG approaches these particular topics, whether or not they will actually try and push the devs to make changes or, like allocate funding. Because really, that's what they're doing. They're juggling funding, and by juggling funding and allocating funding towards certain, I guess, features within the persistent universe, they can kind of, if they do it right, they can increase sales. But at the same time, it also could be like Starfield. Starfield gets announced. We see all the features that game has, and we're like, holy shit, and that's that's almost done. And it's coming out soon. A lot sooner than this one that we've been playing for years. It's a different game, but it's enough to keep some people entertained. It's enough to get some people interested. We're just gonna have to wait and see. Like Chris Roberts may just weather the storm and go, we're just punching through this, and we're just gonna get Squadron 42 out the door, and then focus on bringing the persistent universe up. 100% agree with that, Ramon. 100% agree. I don't know if I'm actually pronouncing your name right, but yeah, I agree with you, mate. I 100% agree. Yeah, make sure you do upvote and show your support, because I think this is something worthwhile, and make a comment on it too. Feel free to make a comment so that it bumps the post up and keeps it up. Show your support. to Jag. I haven't written anything yet. I'll do one tomorrow. I'll make a contribution tomorrow. But for now, we're going to focus on moving on. Just waiting for Telva's comment to come up for the stream. It's taking so long. There you go. I don't think we'll see any kind of changes in flight combat until Master Modes goes live, even until multiple iterations of Master Modes, in my opinion. Or in my honest opinion. I can't talk about the stuff that I've done with it yet. Well, actually, I can't talk about it even after you guys get it. So, yeah, I agree. Like, I imagine that CIG is going to utilize the experimental mode in Arena Commander to help with testing. How's it going today? It's going to be a long stream. Actually, it probably won't be a long stream. I do have to get up early tomorrow. It's not going too bad, Nelson. How you doing? But yeah, like, I don't think we're going to see Master Modes go into the Persistent Universe for a while. We'll get it in Arena Commander's experimental mode first, just to test it out, get a feel for it. And I think what, like a likely possibility is that the player base will experience Master Modes and then just start screaming at CIG to put it into the PU. Some kind of sustainable funding model for Star Citizen going forward post Squadron 42 release needs to be on the table. Ah, I'm glad to know that I'm pronouncing your name right. Normally I put names. Yeah, 100%. Like, the microtransaction system was what CIG was always aiming for. But to be honest, if they want to bring in more money, stabilize your fucking product and, start delivering on it, which they're getting there, but it probably would help them a lot more if they could invest more of their developers and production into Star Citizen than what it's getting now, which I think they're ramping up. Like the Montreal studio starting up, there was another one. There was another one listed, wasn't it? And tell that the other benefit of CIG doing that as well is that those who are, really invested in flight combat and wanting to know what's going on with the changes and experiencing those changes can engage in that. And those who aren't interested in that sort of stuff can go off and, they can fuck off and do whatever. And CIG gets, more, succinct and concise data from those who are willing to test those feature sets, which, in my mind is a win-win for everyone. 35 degrees, no clouds, hot. 35 degrees isn't hot. It's a normal summer day where I'm at, man. Yeah. All right. It's time to move on. Thank you, Jag, for your post asking CIG for more information. And for pointing out something that I don't think a lot of players have been paying attention to. Fucking calm down. Wait your turn. Here we go. All right. 16 degrees. That's like winter where I'm at. Looks like a cold day. Actually, no, where I'm at, that's kind of mild. Alright. So, the next bit of content that we're reacting to here, guys, is a video. I thought it was interesting, primarily because of the irony of the video. I'm going to link it to you first. So, this video here is by a man you guys may recognize. We saw this person feature in another video last week, which was quite funny. And yeah, I'm just going to switch over to the streaming scene right here. And it's a video from Stranger Danger talking about C2 boarding defense and how to fight back against pirates. Ramon, we're not going to know about any of the ship changes or anything like that until we actually get them. Like, CIG hasn't really... Like, they've talked about master modes, but they haven't broken it down into ship subtypes or anything like that. So we kind of have to wait until it's in our hands. But yeah, I'm interested. This video is about. Haven't watched it yet, but this is from Stranger Danger, who was in the video that we watched last week. He was a guest of ITC. And now I see a video from him about C2 boarding defense. So maybe he's taken the lessons that he's learned from ITC and is applying it here. Or, like, I didn't check the timeline of the ITC video and this one, but I'm pretty sure this one came after his incident with ITC and not before. Let's watch this one. How a superior piracy ship.
It's going to be a quick, simple, down and dirty video on how to defend against pirates boarding your ship. It's going to be no edits, no fancy music, no nothing. Just information for traders to try to survive a piracy encounter if they want to fight back and prevent those pirates from boarding their ship. First and foremost, before everything starts, one of the key things you got to do is don't trade in the damn noob suit. Put on a kit of armor. It really doesn't matter. Put on heavy core, heavy helmet. If you want to wear arms and legs, go for it. At the end of the day, as a trader, you're literally running from your ship into a terminal to push a button and then back to your ship. You're not doing long distance running and sprinting. The extra time you spend from wearing leg armor and carrying a little more gear is really irrelevant. So put on a decent kit. Grab whatever gun you want, something like an FS9, a P4, anything, and bring plenty of ammo for it. Heavy armor is good. You can carry 8 magazines normally with all the heavy armor kits and stuff. That's plenty of armor, or plenty of ammo to pretty much defend against these pirates. Make sure you have your multi-tool, as most traders already carry, some med pens, a med gun, and bring a backpack so you can throw some cruise lux in there, maybe some extra ammo. Carry some grenades too. You never know.
Well, I'm going to pause the video here because he's essentially listing the kit that a hauler should wear, which is pretty much full heavy combat kit. I don't agree with that. You don't need to be wearing it, but you do need to have it handy. So, if you watch my pack rat stream or my cartel stream when I'm doing cargo hauling, I grab kit and I put it in the ship because the ship's a giant fucking backpack. I run around in the noob suit, run around in my little sperm suit. I'll have a tractor beam on me, med pens, a pistol, a helmet, and the sperm suit. And I'll just run with that. Because being able to move fast actually does matter. Especially when you get pirates like this guy who like to get onto your elevator. So, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, the kit that he's listing out, yes, you should have it. You should be prepared to fight in FPS, because if you do get attacked by pirates, most of the time they're going to go for the boarding action, because it's fucking cool. So, yeah, but you don't need to be wearing it all the time. Pretty much put it on when you're getting attacked. I would normally wait until bloody, my ship is disabled before putting it on, because they need to board it, which means that they need to disable the ship. When they disable the ship, it's not going anywhere. There's no point sitting in the pilot's chair anymore. So get out, access your inventory, start putting kit on. Kit yourself up, and then move to a defensive position. But we'll keep watching, because I think I'm starting to get ahead of it.
Now, first and foremost, your ship gets soft death. One thing you should do before you get out that pilot seat is open all the exterior doors. Hit the button and get out of the seat. It doesn't seem like much, but when your ship is soft death, everything is unlocked. Pirates are going to EVA in, assuming you're in space, and this is going to be assuming you're in space. Pirates are going to EVA in and board your ship. You can't lock the doors, you can't do nothing to prevent it. But what you can do by opening all in something like a C2 is you can do a little bit of misdirection. Experienced pirates are going to go and give the ship a little sweep while their boarding team prepares to board. They're going to fly around the perimeter, look through the cockpit, see what they can see. See if you're still in the cockpit area, whatever intel they can gather to give their boarding force. By opening all exterior in something like a C2, and we'll be talking about the C2 specifically in this video, is you do this. The ramp to the passenger elevator stays down. Now, normally when a ship is soft death, like a C2, it's taken enough damage in the rear that the rear ramp is already going to be down. The front ramp might be down, depending on how much fire you took there. But this ramp being down can throw a little bit of misdirection out here. Some pirates will look at this and they won't know whether you're out in EVA or if you're still on board. Use it to your advantage. If it makes the boarding team have to wait a few extra seconds so they can scan the area, it gives you more time to EVA and prepare for the boarding and defend your ship. Now, moving on from that, one of the most important things too is once your ship is soft death, you're out of the seat, some traders will sit here at the cockpit and they'll try to hold this area down. Now, this might...
Just going to pause there. Go back to his comment about the elevator. If it's the first thing that you do before you get out of the seat, the problem is that experienced pirates are going to know that you can't move that fast. And they're just going to sit there and go, oh, I just opened up all the doors. So we already know where they're at. They're going to be up in the top area for a C2. So for any herc, they'll just stay at the top. Realistically, the irony here is that for a pirate, we don't actually need to go up. Like, we actually don't need to go up into the top area where the person is. Normally, it is a better idea to, because they can form a party, somebody can then quantum travel to them. If you've got a large enough crew, though, and you've got some fighters with you, you just give them something to do. That said, though, another common tactic, and I'm pretty sure, I don't know if old mate's going to mention it, though, a common tactic that is used to prevent pirates from being able to gain maximum profit is ship ramming. Whoever is the rescuer will come in and their only objective is to destroy the ship that you're trying to pirate by ramming into it, or the lock missiles or whatever. Now, I would say the only real reason why you're going up there to cap the owner is to get rid of any marks that they could have. 9 times out of 10, they don't have any friends, and they're going to start putting out calls in chat. Hey, I'm being pirated. Somebody help me, please. And then they'll get added to a party. If that doesn't happen, there's no reason really to go up there other than wanting to get into a fight, which is, fun. It's a lot of fun. So, I'd be going up there just to fight them, just for the fun of it. But at the same time, you don't actually have to. Because all the cargo, all the valuable shit is downstairs. And if you're not concerned about markers and you've got enough people there to fight off anybody that's trying to reinforce, I would just start moving the boxes and leave old mate up there, bloody stand at a fucking door, you know, thinking that you're going to come up so that they can gun you down. Meanwhile, their fucking buddies who are trying to come to reinforce them are just getting slaughtered by your mates.
Might seem great because you have a fatal funnel where pirates and boarding members are going to come through. And mind you, yes, this is all going to be an EVA, but for the sake of this video, to make it quicker and not have to EVA and play with those great mechanics, we're doing this right now with gravity. This seems like a good idea in concept, and really it is. But the problem is that right behind you, you have this big window. Boarding parties more than likely will send a ship or somebody on EVA to come look through this window to see specifically if you're holding this angle. Reality is, if you're holding this angle, they could wait you out. They could just completely ignore you. They could put somebody on the other side of all these airlocks and just wait for you to come out. Don't give them that intel. The less information you give these pirates, the better. The fact that you're out of your seat and in this ship, they don't know exactly where you are, but they know you're here. They'll keep scanning. So what I would advise is once you do all that, leave the bridge. Get out of here. Leave all these airlocks. Go through all 700 airlocks that the Hercules has and make your way somewhere to the back of the ship. Now, here is where problem 2 comes with some traders. For whatever reason, they're going to rush downstairs. They'll either go down the ladder or take the elevator down to the lower deck. Now, in theory, you'd say, yeah, I want to meet these pirates head on, but what these two things have created here, it's the only 2 entry points to get to the upper deck of a C2, and they're right next to each other. This is kind of a godsend because you can kind of cover both of these at once with very little issue. And with as borky as EVA mechanics are, anybody boarding this elevator is going to have gravity. Yeah, it's a bug, I think, but they're going to be with gravities, which means that when they leave the threshold of this elevator here, there's a good chance that they're going to get that really, really honky EVA animation where they kind of just spin like a pretzel.
The elevators having gravity is actually intended at the moment. It's one of those things where COG didn't have the programmer support to prevent the elevators from maintaining gravity, and plus certain ships, like, you can't really get to other parts of it without elevators. Yeah, like even the Carrack is difficult to navigate without the elevators. Now, so far he's talking about strategies on, you know, what you could do to stop the pirates from getting to you. He hasn't gone into why you would want to be doing all this, though. So we'll keep watching. I'm interested to see if he actually gets to that point. Because why not go downstairs and fight the pirates? Why wouldn't you? There's got to be a reason why you'd stay up here and not go down there. You're playing a video game, FPS is part of it. Why not engage in the FPS? There's got to be a reason for it, right?
If you're set up for that and you catch them during that animation, they're not going to even have a chance to shoot back at you, let alone probably even see where you are. Now, the counter to that is pirates can come up this ramp and have a little more consistent EVA. However, there is counters to this, and that would be on another video, but you can pretty much block this with a 2 STU box. Yes, I know. It's doable. It's been done. I've been on the back end over here, and there will be a video on how to counter this because there is counters for all that. And it's really not as complicated as people think. It's a good strat, but like everything in this game, it's not fail-proof. So, you're up here, you're holding this area, and you decide, all right, where to set up. Good thing with the Hercules is that it's a very big, long ship, and it does give you a lot of decent angles. One angle that I would recommend is when you're in EVA, you'll be able to pretty much just peek right over this rail and hold this little angle here. Anybody coming around that corner over there is pretty much in your line of sight. If you get a good EVA and you're pretty much just holding closer to that rail, but about this angle here, you can literally just watch right here and get every pirate coming through. Now, can they swarm you? Can desync at you? Yes, absolutely. Nothing, like I said, is fail-proof in this game, but this gives you a fighting chance. Another good angle that you might want to explore is to come on the opposite side, where now you have some more pillars. Now, this is a little more complicated because there is some things you got to contend with. However, you know, you don't want to stand, like I've seen some traders do, over here. This is a very, very, very bad angle to be, because as they come up that elevator, they're going to see you right here, and by the time the animation of that glass opens, they're just going to pre-fire you. They're going to pre-fire. You can try pre-firing them, but if there's 2 of them on that elevator or a second one comes up that ramp or that ladder at the same time, you're pretty much toast. At that point in time, just, you know, put your shit in local inventory, hope that you can respawn and come back to your body marker. You can, if you want, hide inside habitation. You can hide, you know, down here the recreation area and stuff like that. Reality is these aren't really that great to set up an ambush because, again, you can kind of be pinched in here and there's really nowhere for you to hide. These are just big open areas where you really don't have cover. You can try to cover that side over there, but your back is exposed to another entry point. If they decide to push you at the same time, you're kind of done. You know, you could go back yourself into the armory of the M2.
You could do a lot of things. You could do a lot of things, you know, defending your ship. The most successful defenses that I've seen on a C2 haven't come from anybody that we've pirated. It's always been when we've done our simulations. And it's literally, you wait until they get out of the elevator and they start heading towards the cockpit, come up behind them, shoot them in the back. Done. Part of the reason why that works is, realistically, you can only fit 2 people in the elevator at a time when you're going through a C2 or, you know, the Herc whilst it's in EVA. More than 2 on that elevator, you're pushing it. You can go 3, but normally the 3rd person can't get out before the door shut again. So, yeah, like, you're better off being patient. Watch, wait, because they've got to find you. They're looking for you. So they're going to start with the most obvious places first, and then they'll start sweeping round. So, you know, watch, wait, and when they're not looking at you, cap them in the back. Grab their kit, throw it in the local inventory of the ship, and then wait for the next lot to come up. And keep moving. Don't fucking stay still. Yeah, like, we'll see how he keeps going if he keeps giving hypotheticals on where you could be and where you couldn't be. It's like, you're a person with a brain, just use it.
2 or A2 if you're traded in that, but at the end of the day, your best angle is out here. The other option you have too for a C2 boarding is you could or could not open all, but you could also the moment your ship gets soft def.
Nelson, it's so clearing a ship is a systemic thing. So what you want to do is you want to, like, you know, it's better to start from one end and then sweep through. So, you know, like, make your way around to the cockpit, go forward, just in case they're still there. If then, you know, clear it visually, yeah, there's no one there. Go back, sweep down one side, then sweep down the other. That way you make sure you get everything. It's good practice to do it that way anyway, because if you are using distortion to disable a ship, your priority is getting to the cockpit. Because if they initiate self-destruct and you manage to get onto that ship, every second that you are spending on that ship is working towards getting to the cockpit so you can shut the self-destruct off. So, yeah, for us, we do it out of, you know, practice, and we'll go forward, make sure it's clear, and then start clearing the rest. It's not a hard spot to clear either. And if we're going to get engaged, normally it will be us trying to get to the bridge. If they'll see our backs, they'll try and engage us from behind, which is why, you know, like, if we do send a boarding team up, we'll try and send, you know, ideally 4 people. We'll do it in pairs.
Rush the elevator. Rush the elevator out here, take the elevator outside, and just beat feet to EVA. As fast as you can, as far away from the ship as you can. Fight the temptation to shoot the first people you see from the boarding party. If you decide to bail from the ship, you're going to be a pretty much silent observer for a while. Time is on your side as the traitor here. This is a time you go to Discord and hail for org mates, or you can request assistance from anti-piracy groups. If there's people in the server that you know, request them. The one thing I wouldn't do is don't give any real-world information through global chat. The pirates are always monitoring global chat. That's how we get a lot of our intel, is you guys will accidentally type something in there, maybe meant for a party, or say something that we can deduce we know what you're doing, and that's how we can set up some snares and catch you guys really easy.
Thought this was supposed to be a quick video.
So don't give any advantage to us. It's not that hard. Just go radio silent and watch. Time is on your side. If you're in a C2 and you have 696 SUs a barrel, these pirates are going to have to call in logistics. They're going to have to call in a Caterpillar or another C2. If it's only 3 or 4 of them, it's going to take them a little while to offload this ship and load it onto their cargo ship. Use the time to observe, to see what they're doing. Coordinate with your forces. If you only have, let's say, a group of 3 or 4 pirates, and let's say they're all in their own ships, so you got 3 or 4 ships, well, you're going to have more than likely 1 pirate inside the C2. Unloading cargo from here. Let's say they have a Caterpillar here, well, you're going to have 1 inside the Caterpillar loading cargo there. You might have 1 working the middle, or in either one of those ships, whichever is going slower, whether the offload or the onload, and you're going to have 1 more than likely just providing security. So in theory, anybody that comes to counterattack these pirates only has to immediately contend with 1 ship, potentially. Now, maybe it's a multi-crew ship, so maybe they have 1 offload, 1 onload, and 1 person in a multi-crew ship, let's say a Cuddy Blue with a turret gunner. If you can get 2 or 3 people to join a party with you, jump to you and coordinate, and all jump together and come in at the same time, you can put a good world of hurt on that 1 person that's Overwatch right now. The other guys are going to have to scramble and make the decision. Do we go back to our ships and fight this counter attack that's coming to us right now? Or do we try to bail out with a prize ship?
That isn't a question. You fight. Prize ship bails. You guys hold off until your prize ship gets out. Thing is that this guy was a prospect in Mongrel Squad for a short period of time. So I don't know if he went through our boarding training though. Not sure. Like, the information is solid. The problem is the presentation here. It's not engaging. I don't need to listen to somebody telling me what to do. It's a video. Speak and show. And to sit there and say, yeah, it's just a quick video. This is 12 minutes is not a quick video. It's just a quick video for you just to slap something together, throw it on YouTube in the hope that you'll get views. But if you actually care that much about putting this information out there, you'd work on the presentation. Like, it matters. Especially if you're going to put so much time and effort into explaining this. Do it right. People will appreciate it more.
Misdirection there, that could be the moment where you now, who've been EVA patiently waiting, can get into position now where those pirates might be a little panicked and a little confused, trying to, react to the situation. Now you can go out there and shoot them with your FPS weapon. It's all about timing, patience, and just really not overthinking things. It really is simple. If you're just a trader that does this just because you don't care, you want to throw a movie on a second monitor, run around, sell some space cargo with, no real purpose for anything, then by all means, backspace, Alt F4, do whatever you want. But if you want to have a fighting chance, these simple little tactics that I just talked about right now are probably some of the best defenses you can have to fight off a group of pirates. And quite honestly,
the name is Stranger Danger. Last week we showed him in a video where he was imprisoned by ITC after he ran onto the elevator of one of their members' ships. He didn't join Mongrel Squad under the name Stranger Danger. He joined under a different name. And I think he ended up getting removed, or he ended up having to drop out of Mongrel Squad because he didn't have the time to keep up with our attendance requirements. But yeah, like, the information he's putting out there is solid, but we're just looking at a dude holding an FS9 in a fucking back of a Herc. Yeah, he was NA. He was a NA member. So you probably never encountered him, Mario.
it'll probably be really fun. At the end of the day, your ship is soft death, it's dead in the water. You're gonna die. You're gonna have a body marker here. You're gonna have to try to find the ship. Why not go out with a real bang and give these guys a run for their money? It's worth it. At the end of the day, I think it's worth it. You're not gonna lose much. You're gonna lose 20 or 30,000 credits worth of gear that really you can go do a bunker run and replace in 10 minutes, and you engage in some good, fun gameplay. Now, that's not to say that being on the pirating end is fun. It does kind of suck to get your ship destroyed and potentially lose your cargo, but go out swinging. Give these guys a run for their money. I'd be lying to tell you right now, if every trader we've soft death or snared or distorted that we've got their cargo, there have been guys that have surprised us. There have been guys that have fought back and won. It happens. It really does happen. And quite honestly, a lot of these guys that have fought back and won, we actually have built really good relationships with. So don't be scared. Don't venture outside with the normal, just throwing on a noops it is, go selecting a button on a terminal, flying to another place to push another button. Get a
I'm going to put it to you this way, Grizz. Jack Axton got banned or suspended for 3 days for ramming a ship on a pad where you couldn't spawn ships on, and for ramming a ship that was hovering in an armistice zone. It doesn't matter if we don't have the information. The rules of whatever CIG tells us when they tell us. Thanks for dropping in, Ramon. Catch you later, mate. The rules are whatever CIG tells us. And to try and sit there and play rules lawyer over this over and over again amongst, you know, we're essentially the peanut gallery arguing over the bloody salt that gets put on us. Doesn't matter. You know, whoever's making the peanuts, or, you know, making the salted peanuts, they decide how much salt gets put on there. Not us. Alright, we're almost done with this video.
The kit. Basic kit is all you need. Just some heavy armor, some grenades, plenty of ammo, good FPS weapon that you like, and that's it. With all that said, this is Stranger. I hope you guys get a little bit of information from this, and hopefully it helps you out there in case you encounter pirates. We'll see you guys. Be
I like that ending. That was good. That was good. That was my favorite part. Normally when I say that, it's like I'm being facetious, but this was actually a good ending. Alright. Here we go. There was a lot of solid information in that video. My criticism is pretty much the presentation wasn't that great. Like, it's like just a talking head type thing. You know, it's ironic because I'm doing reactions, right? Talking head and all that sort of stuff, but like, if you're going to talk about things that you do in a game, show the things that you're doing in the game. You know, like show them examples of it. It takes more time, it takes more effort, but people appreciate the presentation more. And they'll be more receptive to the information that you're putting out there. Like, what is it? How many views has this got so far? 352 views over 9 days. 12 minutes, solid information. I'm going to relink this. If you guys want to watch it and listen to it yourselves, like, you feel free to. But yeah, the problem here is like the information was good, presentation let it down. So, you know, like it sucks. You know, content creation isn't easy, but it's worth the effort of trying to do it right. Especially if you want to try and grow your presence, grow your channel, grow your presence within the community, try and recruit for your organization. Putting out quality content matters. If you want to establish yourself as knowledgeable on a specific topic, presentation matters. It also shows that you actually care about the topic that you're talking about. You're not just making a video for the sake of making a video. The intent of, you know, like trying to educate those who engage in cargo hauling as well is admirable. The honest, you know, reality here is that the majority of players who use Alt F4 and all that, they're not interested in fighting back. They don't care. They will never be interested in engaging in combat. For those who may be, you know, may feel like they have a chance, you realistically need to show an example of it happening. Content creators, streamers are normally the best to do this. You know, them getting pirated, them fighting back. Well, Nelson, it still matters, you know. If you want to establish your channel for shit posting, presentation's still going to matter. You know, memes exist in the format that they do because, you know, visuals matter. And sometimes it's actually part of the meme to make it look like shit. But it's at least, you know, somewhat effort shown and thought into what you're doing. Pirate educating a trader, you can forgive the lack of enthusiasm. I don't know, like making tutorial based videos take a long time, you know, especially when you got to get the B-roll. And if you're talking about something, you're doing the narration, making sure that the B-roll matches what you're doing, and you know, you'll do your first pass on it and realize, oh shit, I'm missing all this, or this would look better. So you go back, you get that content, put it in there. It takes time. But the way I see it is that, you know, if you're going to try and do tutorial-based, you know, information, because that's what this is, it's a how-to, it's a tutorial. How to fight back, show. You know, it's a video, show, talk. Show how you do it. But yeah, information's solid. Just let down by the visuals. Give them a break? No. If you're going to put video content out on the internet, you fucking should put the effort in. That's just it. Like, if you're going to put video content out there, put the effort in. Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I haven't put a video out yet for the Mongrel Squad YouTube channel for our piracy stuff, because I'm putting more effort into it. And I'm getting all these lined up. You know, and it's taking time, it's taking longer to do. But when every piracy hit can pretty much go the exact same way now, you gotta try and, you know, like jazz it up a bit. You gotta make it more presentable so that people are more willing to engage. I'm a strict daddy, yes. You must be, Jay, you must have been talking to my kids. Because they'll tell you the same thing. So, Grizz, just on your point there, technically CIG have made the rules public. If you check the terms of service, it tells you to the effect of they make the rules, and if they deem whatever you have done as not in the spirit of the product that they've created, you've broken the rules. It's shit. It is real shit. But it is what it is. Alright. We gotta get through the next bit of content. We've watched a video from this one before, from this person before. Oh, for fuck's sakes. Wait your turn! God damn it! Alright, we're moving on to the next bit of content. So, we've reacted to a video from this person before, a long time ago. But I've been looking for more piracy-based content, and I wanted to do a bit of a palate cleanse. I could have watched another Voidy video. This is probably... I don't want to say it's going to be a mistake. I want to stay positive with this, but it's not a Voidy vid. So, you know, like, I think we've been spoilt with a high bar. So I want to try and, you know, I want to bring some more attention. Like, this person here has put a bit of effort into their video presentation. So, you know, and it's Star Citizen Piracy gameplay in 3.19. You know, we get to see a bit of piracy action. So here we go. It is from, was it Liberty Network? You guys, if you might remember from a Mongrel Squad reaction stream a while back. But here it is here, and I'm a Rocket Man. Star Citizen Piracy gameplay. So we'll see how this goes. Oh, that audio. While patrolling the trade lanes around Hurston, a target was scouted loaded with 628 SCU of titanium and 68 SCU of laranite. An ambush was prepared. Looks like he's on his own, but he's got mates that are 20-something million kilometers away. What the fuck is that? He's on aerial. Was this copyright music? Am I going to get copyright strike? Probably. My favorite part about using the Cutlass Blue at night when I turn the dampener on is that I can see the fucking seam of where the texture, you know, joins together, and the fact that it's in front of, you know, pretty much in the middle of your field of view makes it even better, because you can barely fucking see how the Cutlass Blue at night while the fucking UED's rolling, and then you get these seams which just piss you off even more. It almost feels like CIG is purposely trolling us by doing that shit. It's 40k music? I don't even know. I haven't played any of the 40k games, which is ironic because I own a couple of them. Tried a tricky maneuver there. Oh, yeah, he only just got him in there. If that C2 had punched through, you know, punched harder. Oh, he's out of range. He's out of range. Get in there, mate. Get in there. Oh, he's pushing further away. He's going to jump. Oh, he hasn't spilled up his quantum drive spilled up, so just going to quickly pause. Quantum drive spilled up. Like, bloody, the EM is extremely high. Quantum drive spilled, ready to go. Oh, mate. If you look at the MFD there, he's starting to angle, so I think he's finally got a quantum travel marker. What, we're 942 meters, moving at 942 meters a second. You're only gaining on them by 14 meters a second, though, at 8.2 kilometers away, and you're running low on boost. But power triangles all the way to engine, so you're not going to consume as much as quickly. But yeah, let's see. I want to see if he actually gets this. Come on, push it. That hauler's fucking around. You're almost in space too. Yeah, he's at max speed. He can't do much more. Yeah, he's gonna get it. He's got it. He's got it. Don't slow down yet. Yeah. What are you doing, mate? Fuck, you almost fucked that merge. Captain Dirty Beard. Hello. C2's doing not a bad job of trying to evade, but they don't really have a plan. You can kind of tell by the way that, like, they'll start breaking away, but then they don't try and maintain, you know, try and continue to gain distance. Honestly, like, one of the other tactics that this, you know, hauler could use, which, you know, I've seen it work to great effect on inexperienced pirates, is dropping a flare as you're making a direction change. So, you know, like, try and get the pirate to blow through your position, so bait them along the path, and then change directions quickly and hit the noise. You drop noise, the pirate flies into it, you punch out the other side, and while they're still trying to come around, you know, and come back around on you, you're already punched out far away enough that you should be able to get a calibration and jump. Well, it's called noise, but chaff is the same term. Yeah, like, he's done that. Oh, mate. The Herc pilot made a mistake by readjusting. Oh, he's gone decoupled. Good on him. Got some decoupled flying going. Why are you trying to fight him, mate? Burn away? Oh, no. Do it again. Burn now. Why are you trying to shoot at him? Fucking Rocket Man, you deserve to get pirated. You had so many opportunities to get away. But he's dropped noise, but he's in the middle of it, stationary. Alright, oh mate, she's got a friend here now. Dropping noise again. Gotta drop the noise when they're close to you, not when you're bloody trying to make a turn. Pretty sure old mate's friend is also in a blue, so you're pretty much fucked. You had a chance against bloody one. Two of them there in blues. Shouldn't make it. That was close. It looks like his friend has got in on the rear. What is his friend using? Is that a Scorpius? Are they using a Scorpius instead of a blue? Oh, he's spinning. That's how you know you got them. Because that's all they've got left. They've just got spinning. Why are you shooting from the front? Alright, that's at least a bit more of an acceptable position. Wait, that's a Buccaneer. Are they using cannons? Why does it sound like they're using cannons? Oops, soft deaths. Right, turn your QED off so you can fucking see. Hey! Oh, that's a cool transition. .360 no scope. Yay. Good thing is with Laranite Titanium, they're in different colored boxes. So the white boxes are the Laranite, so you just leave the grey ones. Smooth. Fucking EVA sucks so much. You can kind of hear him talking too, but the music's overbearing. Come on, just take the fucking elevator up already. There he is, right side, towards the back, Novikov armor. Ooh, got a couple of shots on him. Oh, he's got a Devastator. No? Why? I backspaced. Mate, what were you doing? You should have just waited for him to come out the fucking elevator. Would have had him. Oh, he was using a Gallant. Oh no, he wasn't wearing Novikov. It was Overlord armor with a shit helmet. And an arc light, executive arc light. Oh man, dude's fucking concierge for sure. I like that transition. Thought that was cool. That Overlord armor is subscriber-based armor too. Alright, he's got his friend there, so he's gonna ditch the body. Got your ramp. There we go. Pirate. What's that other ship down there? Is that a 85X? Or a Gladius variant? Like, we got the Pirate Gladius there, but there's another one further down. In detachment mode, you can't tractor onto the ship yet. Oh no, are they grabbing the titanium as well? Why? Don't even worry about it. Just gonna quickly scroll back here. This shit! Catwalk side. Don't bloody fuck the ship like that. Especially when you're tired. Because bloody your crew won't notice it either until they're bloody fixing up all the boxes that you've put down. And then they've put so many boxes in there they can't really, justify stopping what they're doing, rearranging the boxes again, and then re-maneuvering the ship. Take all, give nothing back. Yeah, no, in the case of titanium, just leave it there. Fuck titanium. You don't make enough off of it. Not to move like 600 SCU worth of it. You're better off just grabbing the Laranite, fucking... You'd actually make more from salvaging the ship than you would from taking the bloody titanium. Yeah. Wasn't too bad. I didn't mind it. The combat went for a bit long. I think the music was a bit overpowering. Ninja loading training. Overusing Warhammer soundtracks like this again. It was a bit repetitive. Like, it didn't help with the music droning on during the combat itself. Like, I found like, because the fight was taking so long, the music wasn't helping. That said, I also need to expand the library of music that we use, because right now it's just official stars and stuff. So I'm looking at, what was it, Epidemic for music. And yes, I turned the music off too, Taz. But I think for a lot of that, like, they use the music to pretty much mask, their comms and all that. Myself personally, when I'm recording, I actually have all the audios set up so that they go to separate tracks. So game audio, my mic, and VoIP, which has saved me a lot when I'm doing my video editing. But yeah, like, I didn't mind that. That wasn't too bad. I like the transitions, like the warped type transitions. There was actually, I thought it was a really good one where old mate's going to dump the body and he's gone from like tractor beaming it on from the C2, and then he's pretty much warped to where his cutlass is, and because of the way that he was holding the body and the way that the transition worked, it looked like everything had changed around the body itself. I liked it from an aesthetic point. Yeah, like this, it wasn't a bad hit. And that's kind of how a lot of hits. Well, actually, no, that's not right. It's not how a lot of hits go. It's as soon as you've bricked their ship, they normally fucking what's it called? They normally alt F4 and they're gone. But it was good to see a fight. That ship owner really could have used Stranger Danger's bloody C2 defense video. It would have helped him out a lot. And not using a fucking bloody, what's it called? The arrow sniper rifle thing. Should have just hit the elevator and then you could have popped out with that sniper rifle, charge shot, bam, and finished the fight. And then forced his friend to come on board, and then you could have capped him too. And then they both would have been like, what do we do now? But, hopefully the hauler got a good experience out of that too. Like, yeah, sure, they lost all those credits in their cargo, but they got to fight a pirate, boarding action and everything. It's good, really good. Splice. Bandcamp. I'll have a look at those over the next few days, because I will be. I do need to expand on the library, because I started going back over the audio files that I have for the Star Citizen original soundtrack that I have, and I started culling a lot of them because a lot of them just weren't good for video, and yeah, the list is quite small now. Alrighty then. Well, that is pretty much it for me for the night, everyone. This stream went for a lot longer than what I had planned, but I blame the first bit of content that we reacted to, which, to be honest, like, when I saw the video from Captain Dirty, I really did want to react to it. Get my input, you know, my 2 cents on that, so that you know, I could put it out there, but also like kind of benefited from being able to sit around for a week and think about it, go back over the, you know, the content, the video, the evidence provided. Yeah, Taz, I saw it on Google. I'll definitely have a look. You know, and pretty much this is one of those situations, guys, like the whole, you know, ship ramming, doors open in armistice. Like, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't risk it. It's not worth it anyway. For, you know, from a piracy perspective, from a skill-based perspective, hitting ships in armistice zone is just cheese. If you got an opportunity, like you've cracked the ship open, they've gone back into the armistice zone, ship's still open, you know, board it, pull away, wait until they leave, and then, you know, cap the pilot. We've done that before, but breaking into the ship by breaching through the doors, by ship ramming, whilst the pilot, the owner, is still present, that's cheese. There's no reason to be doing that. Just get better at piracy. You know? Get better at your tactics. Get better at your individual piracy skills. QED, it's, you know, super important. Just focus on skills. If they get away, so what? You know, fucking just pop them next time you see them. Anyway, that's it for me for tonight. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming along for the stream. The next stream is going to be tomorrow night, starting at 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, GMT +10, where I'm going to be getting sweaty in Arena Commander again. And we'll see how that goes. I'm pretty sure Top Flip's got it in for me. Wants to... is really getting sick of me tricording away when my shields go down, but I'm going to keep doing it until he learns to stop me from doing it, and then I'll have to learn how to counter that. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow night. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming along, and I will catch you all tomorrow.